Hello and welcome to IELTS. Let's get started. Today's question is, do you know how writing is marked in IELTS? In my whole teaching experience, whenever I asked this question, the first answer I got, sir, it is the vocabulary. The reason behind majority of institutes focus only on providing vocabulary notes and their students keep on writing and cramming them. On pondering little more, some students answer, sir, grammar is also checked in writing. And that's it. Sadly, 90% of students do not know how writing is actually checked and they keep on changing institutes to improve scores. So what is the actual writing criteria? Here is the writing band descriptors, public version released officially by British Council and ITP. This is for the task 1 and this is for the task 2. You can see there are 4 parameters. The only difference is in the task 1 it is task achievement and in task 2 it is task response. Let's take these parameters one by one. The first parameter, task response. The meaning is very clear from the name itself. It comprises of 2 components: answer according to the question and address all parts. Let's understand these components with the help of the introductions which we made in our first video. The topic was about robots. Now if you don't discuss about robots in your writing and you start discussing mobile phones or computers, that means you are not answering according to the question, losing the band score in task response. Address all parts means the question is asking you to discuss both views and give your opinion. If you don't discuss all these things, you are not addressing all parts, hence losing band score in task response. Now some of the students may say, sir, it is very easy, we will score high in the task response. But students, when it comes to your IELTS test day, when you enter in the examination hall, no matter how much good you have performed in the coaching institute, what matters in your examination hall is your exam stress. Suppose you miss MCQs in listening, you get tough reading, and when it comes to writing, you are already stressed out and understanding question of the writing becomes very difficult. Let's take one example. Global warming is a serious problem. What are its causes? What does it causes? Is there any difference between these 2 questions or are they similar? Yes, there is a difference. The first one is asking about the causes of global warming. The second question is asking about the effects. What global warming causes? Now answering according to the question, if you write causes as an answer to the second question or effects as an answer to the first question, you are not addressing according to the question, losing the band score and task response. Let's take another question. Many youngsters are moving to foreign countries. Why is it so? Do you think it is a positive development? Again, due to exam stress, some students miss the second question. They just complete their writing for the first question only. That means addressing not all the parts of the question and losing band score and task response. The second parameter, coherence and cohesion. It is your linking ideas as well as paragraphs. Structure is also included in this parameter. We did linking in the introductions. We linked the 2 lines with however, and in 7 plus we linked the lines with whereas and look at the position of in my perspective. Structure, we mentioned the structure in the thesis statement. I will discuss both views and state my opinion. That means you are telling to the examiner, your writing will have both the views and your opinion also. There was one thing more that was mentioned in coherence and cohesion, that is avoid overuse. Students tend to use more linking words than what is actually required. Let's take one example. Look at the usage of linkers here. Firstly, I would like to say that some people use too many linkers. However, some use a good amount of linkers. In addition, they use them in the right place. For example, they put linkers in the middle of paragraph. Nonetheless, there are many students who do not follow this strategy. In other words, they use lots of linkers. Isn't this paragraph looking artificial? Yes, it is looking because of the overusage. Now look at the correct usage. Firstly, I would like to say that some people use too many linkers. They add them at the beginning of every single sentence, which is often not necessary. In contrast, some students use an appropriate amount of linkers, which they place correctly, sometimes in the middle or at the end of sentences too. So this is the correct usage of linkers at the correct places. Let's move to the third parameter, lexical resource, which says you should have wide range of vocabulary by showing paraphrasing skill, which we did in our first video of the introductions. The word was important, we paraphrase it with indispensable, then we use another word, paramount. Then in 7 plus, instead of writing another word, we change the structure of the line by using passive voice. So, lexical resource includes using synonyms, antonyms, and changing the structure by passive voice. Let's look at another example of paraphrasing. Many people find watching tennis interesting. In order to paraphrase this line, majority of students would paraphrase the word many, people, watching, interesting. But what is another way? When you paraphrase the form of the word. Look at the way the word interesting is paraphrased. Many people find watching tennis interesting. Many people have an interest in watching tennis. What we are doing here, we are changing the form of interesting. Interesting was an adjective here, and then in the second sentence, interest is a noun. So what you are doing, you are changing the form of word from adjective to noun. This is another kind of paraphrasing. Last parameter, grammar, which include its range and accuracy. What is grammatical range? The question is mentioning that robots might have negative effects. We are going to change the grammatical structure of this line by using a different model and saying they could be detrimental. So this is the way of showing grammatical range. Accuracy, you all know that it means correct usage of spelling, correct usage of tenses, and appropriate usage of punctuation marks. One common mistake in grammatical accuracy, which I have witnessed in majority of the students, is mentioned in this example. A recent research done by Harvard University show that 65% of Americans works more than 50 hours a week. What is the grammatical error here? The error is of subject-verb agreement. The subject is singular, that means the verb here should be singular, that is shows. And here also the subject is plural, the verb here should be plural, that is work. So that was the last parameter. Now all these parameters are equally important as they all have 25% of weightage. Suppose you get 6 in task response, in coherence and cohesion you get 5, lexical resource 6, grammar 5, adding them all is 22, divide by 4, that is 5.5, that is your writing score. That means you have to focus on all the parameters to get the desired bands in writing. Apart from all these parameters, there are some points to consider which are written at the end of the writing sheet that is provided to you on the exam day. What are these points? The first point is saying under length, second point is saying number of words. That means your writing should be according to the word limit, and if not, you will get a penalty for it. Off topic, we discussed it earlier. The topic is about robots, and you discuss about mobile phones or computers. That means you are going off topic. Memorize. This is going in some of the institutes. Some students are made to cram some kind of introductions, but students, examiners are trained to assess such kind of writing and they will penalize your writing for it. Illegible, it means your handwriting is not neat and clean and examiner is having problems to read it. So apart from the 4 parameters above, you have to take into consideration these points also. So that completes the writing parameters. Hope you have got an idea. If there is any doubt still, you can ask me in the comments. And students, I am getting lot of inquiries about when the exam is going to be held again, when the coaching institutes are to be open again. To answer all these questions, I have a quote for all of you that you can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass. So keep on practicing by keeping yourself calm, as this too shall pass. Thank you very much.